season, this is Insight Education, a TV program designed to enlighten the general public on the policies, activities and progress of the Delta State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education in its bid to provide a quality education for the good children of the state. It promises to be interesting. Rita Ubuaja is my name. It will offer insights into the workings of the ministry so that you will appreciate efforts the present government is putting in place to ensure we have a solid foundation of education in the state. It will play host to current news of happenings in the ministry, hold developmental strides, as well as discussion sessions with pupils, students, their parents, teachers, and other educational stakeholders in the state. On this week's edition, we shall be looking at the key delivery areas in the Delta State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Let's check it out.
In keeping with His Excellency, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Arthur Okowa's vision in ensuring that the educational sector attains a level where students of public schools would compete favorably with their peers around the world, the Honorable Commissioner Patrick Hooker, with his esteemed educational stakeholders, unequivocally implements educational policies, goals and needs of the state, and in consonance with the national policy on education. In addition to this, some directors in the Education Ministry enlighten the public on strategic areas of key deliveries in the State Ministry. A Director of Exams and Standard Department, Mrs. Odehoho Kehinde, who in her capacity speaks on the challenges associated with examination structures with possible policies to tackle these challenges.
Yeah, because you know our main function here is on examination matters, to see that all examinations are well conducted, processed, and results being released on time. In the process of doing this, we'll have some challenges. And these are due to there is delay in the registration, students, teachers not being adhering to the instructions in the guideline. Because the guidelines, we issue them out to all the local governments, the 25 local governments, through their CIs to the school heads. And there are dates for the different exams. The dates are stipulated there, the date of the conduct, the date for marking, the date for the release of the results. And these dates, the essence is for them to follow strictly to all those directives in the guideline to enable the results to be released on time. And not just being releasing the result on time, to be error-free. In the process, you now come across, just as I've told you, that delay in registration. Then also, we also find out that during the registration, the online registration, you see there are some mistakes. There are some mistakes, and this can affect the results. Mistakes in the sex and names. And to avoid things like that, we have now made sure that the guideline is released on time to enable the teachers to free to make sure that it is the errors are being minimized before sending it to the consultant. And also bringing out the registration, this information to us, because we will now forward to the consultant who process the results. Then again, you know, with the poor economy, you see some of these parents, they may not have the fund on time to pay. What I'm talking about is mostly on private schools, because the government, the Delta State government, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, pays examination fees for students in both cognitive and basic, free. It's free. But for you know, in the receipts, we normally have receipt exam. Those who fail, there are some that will fail maths and English and will be given another chance for receipt. to receipt to make a trial. When you have receipt, the governor or the government will not pay for you again, because the government cannot pay twice for you. If you have missed the first chance, then your parents should pay for the receipt, and then you write the receipt. So you see, like for the private schools, as I'm telling you, those who have to pay, because of the poor economy, may not have the fund on time, and thereby delaying, because at least on a humanitarian grant, we now want to shift it a bit, instead of following the guideline, the stipulated time. You see, the examination, all these dates will now shift again, just to make sure that all students are taken care of. All students sit for the exam. We don't want to leave any child behind. Let them all partake in the examinations. Then other challenges we also have is the validation list. There is a validation paper that comes out 2 weeks before the examination, and this comes from the consultant. Thereby, when this validation paper list comes out, we send it to the CIEs. From the CIE, it gets to the school heads for them to cross-check their names, if their names are properly written, if their sets are properly written. Because it's like a chance now, so that these errors will not come out in the results. So when this thing comes out, the schools, they do some of these corrections. But you still see human beings, what they are. Some may slow, some may not return that validation list on time. They may not return it on time. And when you don't return it on time for us to send all to the consultant, you see some delay even after the exam. Then what do you expect? That correction you're supposed to put in so that it will not reflect in the result will not come out. We have all these challenges. And then, but we have, like I told you, that delay, not following the time as arranged because of late registration and other things, and this validation I was talking about. But for now, these challenges, they have been taken care of. With this new administration, with this new commissioner, we'll now find out that, and we have arranged, we work ahead of time. We work ahead of time, and we have given enough time to the school authorities to see that these errors does not come back, reflect again in our results. So we work ahead of time. The validation paper I was telling you, because there's also time to, they will now release it to schools, so that whatever correction that needs to be done is being done before the commencement of our examinations.
Mrs. Kehinde threw more light on monitors during exam section.
We monitor exam vigorously to see that there won't be malpractice, and even if there are monitors, we have monitors, we send that from the ministry. All the directors, officers, not only in the exams department, in other departments, they move out to monitor the exams. And the ministry makes sure that they are well taken care of. We motivate them and encourage them so that they bring out the best. They maintain their integrity and see that the job is well done. This also is a process of minimizing exam malpractice.
Resumption test, which was introduced by the Honorable Commissioner, Patrick Kuka, has played a major role in getting grades for the children of the state. Mrs. Kehinde elaborates further.
In the past, you see students don't resume on time. Students don't resume on time. Well, another policy that has been put in place is that first week of resumption, they will have resumption test. And students, this test is part of the continuous assessment, which they will not want to miss. So that meaning that the first week of resumption, all students are already in school. And they are already aware too that everything concerning exams have been concluded before the end of August. There was receipt exam, and this receipt exam is normally done in September. But now everything concerning exams will be concluded by the end of August. So that as the children are coming in September, you've already known your class. That first week of September, you are coming to resuming school. You've known your class. You have known that you failed or you pass. Because everything will be concluded before the resumption date. So all the receipt exam, the main exam for BC, the cognitive exam, which is the cognitive placement exam for our primary children, primary 6 children, all will be done and concluded before August ending. And we will also have model exams. Model exams will normally have supplementary, but there's no longer going to be supplementary exam again. The model exam is done once, and just so that by the end of August, everything pertaining to exam is being concluded. That the children, as they come in September, you have known your class, and other policy that's also put in place with my new commissioner. You see the fear these children have for not resuming early enough. Most of them, they know that during the holiday, the whole school is bushy. As they resume, those who resume that first week, they go there to go and clear the school. But with now, the ministry, in collaboration with some private partners, they clean the school environment. They clean the school environment to make sure it's clean. The entire place is clean before that resumption in that first week of September. Even the directors on their own, they went to their communities to clear their schools, the schools in their community. So when the children now found that the environment is already clean, what will now make them to stay at home? They all now resumed. By that first week, they were all in school, and they partook in the resumption test. Now they're already aware that there's a resumption test every term. So if you go to the school, even the very first day, because the first day that they're doing is the test, you see the whole population, all of them are in their schools, seated in their classroom.
She goes further to speak on the existing standards for school examination.
Before, you see some of these schools, examination malpractice almost everywhere, but which has been eradicated at great extent. Because you see, these children, when they now find out that at the end of the day, they will be assisted. They are not interested in going to school. They are not interested in coming to receive lessons. And the teachers are there, ready to teach them. So with what my Honorable Commissioner has put on ground, I told you now that we have very many monitors. All the ministry staff are all monitors. And we also have exam ethics committee that move out to monitor our exams to see that examinations are all free from examination malpractice. And these monitors, just like I've told you before, we motivate them. The ministry motivates them. They encourage them with huge sum of money for them to be comfortable wherever they are. Throughout the exams, they move out, make sure they touch all schools to monitor. And when these students who are not, I've told you now that our children, they have changed too, because they are aware now that there's a resumption test. So you see all of them, they are in classes, learning. And when they see the monitors going around, it's not as usual again. You have to sit up, you must read so that you will write, because if you don't come to school, you must come to school. If you don't come to school, what do you have to write? But now that the avenue has been created for you, the school has been, environment has been cleaned for you to resume and come and learn. And you will not miss that test. It's part of your exam. And I told you that these monitors, they put in their best. So examination at this moment has been reduced to the barest minimum. Everything we do is inside the curriculum. They don't do anything outside. So whatever is there, because the curriculum is already given to schools, to the school heads, which is being broken down, and they teach. It's the same thing they teach everywhere. All the schools, both public and private, they follow the curriculum. And the questions are uniform. It's the same thing. It doesn't go outside the outside the curriculum. Delta State cannot employ teachers who are not qualified. Not just being a graduate, you must be a graduate in the field. You must read education for you to become a teacher. So these are the calibers of people they employ as teachers. So when we have these teachers and their salary is regular. The salary is regular and fantastic. That at least it is unlike in the past where they owe teachers for some months. It's no longer like that. Your salary is regular. Why won't you do your job? So they are happy to do their job. They put in their best to see that the purpose of recruiting them is being achieved. And as a result of that, you see, they put in their best, and there will be development in education. And considering my commissioner, you see, we go around and inspect schools to see the areas where they are lacking the necessary materials, they have the facilities, the things they need. They are being provided. There's development in our educational standard now, because there are very many teachers all over our schools putting in their best, they are paid and they are monitored. I told you, they are monitored. Don't just employ you and you be in the classroom there. No, not just that. The post-primary board, there are people there. They still move out to monitor, they go to the classrooms to see that teachers they are there to do what they are employed for. And these teachers, you know that this is Ekabela. If you don't clock, you must clock to show that you come to work. So they all are conscious of that. So everybody goes to school. They all come to work and put in their best. And the result is okay. There's improvement in our results. We have the cognitive exam. We have which is the placement for children into the secondary school. Then we have the basic education certificate examination. That's for children in GS3. Then there's WAEC and NECO. Which WAEC exam and NECO exams. Then we also conduct compulsory exams for admin officers and executive cadre. Like the results here, they check it online. They check it online. No result is done inside this office. There are consultants that are not even within. So they register online, and during the registration is online. And as I told you, like the private schools, they pay for the exams. But in the government schools, it's free. Government pay for them. Whatever they pay in the private schools, for the exams, no cash come to this office. No cash come here. They pay and they submit their teller or draft through the CIS, which is being paid straight into the ministry's account. We don't collect cash. That is the process of registration into the various exams. You see, in each of the schools, the school head register all of them. And at the end of the day, this is scratch cards, which they will use to check their results when their result is ready. And when it is ready, the consultant upload it. They inform us and will now inform them that the result is ready. Because during that registration, they've been given this card. It is the card they will now use to check their results if they pass. The only thing we just do later is when the certificate is ready. And the certificate, the consultant that will also bring the certificate. And then we give to the CIAs. Because you see, what we do here is that we don't just deal directly with the principals and the school heads. It's through the CIAs. The CIAs will not give it to the school heads. But there is still room for whoever. If you want to come here for any information, we still welcome them, and we give them whatever information that's needed. But right at the feed, we have our field offices and the chief inspectors of education. They are there. So, and it will because of proximity. That is why that office, the CI's offices are in the local government, so that the schools can easily reach. When you are meeting the CIs, those people are representing the commissioners there. Then if there is need, anything, the CI will bring the information here for them, so that they don't travel on this long distance.
Mr. Ekene Chukwu Paul, another director for Education Resource Center, Delta State, speaks on the role of the ministry.
The ministry, as the name implies, is in charge of implementation of educational policies as it concerns basic and secondary in Delta State. You will observe that in Delta State, the ministry have been split into different ministries. It was one ministry of education before now. Later, higher education ministry was carved to be a separate ministry, taking charge of tertiary institutions. Later now, just recently, technical education ministry was carved out again. So our ministry is just responsible for the implementation of education policies at the basic and secondary school levels.
Teachers who are professionals in their various fields through research have been found to do better in delivering knowledge to their learners. Mr. Ekene elaborates on innovations for Teachers Professional Development Council.
You know, the era we are now, what they call this reading culture in our school system is really going down. So we are trying as much as possible to ensure that our students, our pupils, they read their books. They let them know that reading is very essential to facilitate their education in life. We organize workshops for teachers and education administrators from time to time, so that when we educate the teachers, they carry they step down whatever they learned, whatever we teach them, they step it down to the other teachers and the students.
Mr. Ekene speaks on book review and in discipline.
But if you look at now, we are developing teachers, what they call TPDC, Teacher Professional Development Council, so that from time to time we give them workshops, seminars, where we gather. It's in stages. It's in stages. Sometimes we organize for principals of schools, vice principals of schools, education officers at various levels. Then the teachers, in both primary and secondary schools, so that they will flow with the current trends in education. Nobody is left off the nation. And indiscipline in schools is one of the areas we organize seminars and workshops for our teachers. Indiscipline, we know, is a very dangerous phenomenon now in our school system. Even now, you discover that as a policy in education, we encourage teachers not to flog our students and our pupils. But when you discover now what is happening, it's now the students that are even flogging teachers. That is as a result of indiscipline in the system, in the society at large. So we do all these courses. We do need assessment to know what is happening in our schools, and that guides our process of the teaching, and that's the organizing of seminars and workshops.
Welcome back. It is on this note we conclude this edition of the program Insight Education. For your comments and contributions on how we can create a better educational system and to build a stronger Delta, please use the social media handles displayed on your screen. See you next week when we bring another exciting episode of the program Insight Education. I am Rita Ubwaja. Thanks for staying with us. Bye for now.